Hi, welcome to 12 Volt Shed and our little video on the developing issue of accumulator pump failure in 100 series Toyotas. I want to put this video right at the start because I just want to say sometimes in life we try and save ourselves a few bucks. We jump on YouTube and we say, hey, we're the captains, we can do anything. And look, a lot of people are very capable people and you may be one of those extremely capable people. But just know your limits, understand what you do and don't know. This is a braking system. It's part of the safety system of your vehicle, and part of this pump failure causes the brakes to fail. So we just wouldn't want to see you coming down a range and have got it wrong. The other thing is just keep in mind that these pumps can often fail because the accumulator is leaking internally. If the accumulator leaks, that pump will run continuously, which will wear out the little brushes inside the pump. And that may be why your pump has failed, why your little motor's burned out early. So just keep these things in mind. Sometimes it's better to seek the advice of a professional, but at the same time I understand that trying to buy a whole assembly genuine is a very costly exercise. So, and as you've seen in this video, Steve was able to rectify his and has had no trouble since. So one tip, if you do the motor and you notice afterwards that it is running, just keep your ear out for that pump running, and if it's running a lot, that may be an indicator of an accumulator failure. If you've got any second guess, if you're not even sure at any of the process, do yourself a favour and the rest of the people on the roads and get a professional to have a look at it. I'm going to play this vid at the end just as a reminder, but be safe, people. Thanks. G'day, welcome to 12 Volt Shed. Here today to go through a problem that's occurring with Toyotas and their brake failures. So if you've got a Toyota and you're having some brake failure issues, this video might be very informative. I'm here with my great mate Steve, who just recently experienced this problem. Steve, being a mechanic, set about trying to work out what was going on. And Steve, can you tell us what happened? What was your experience in the car that led this?
How are you, Jace? What we did is we happened to be out and I moved the car and I had an ABS light on and the handbrake light was on and an alarm beep going on that I hadn't heard before. Everything seemed alright. I moved the car a bit and I noticed after some brake applications that the pedal went to the floor and there was no brake assist.
So a few brake, yeah, it had pressure and then it had dropped.
You seem to get about 5 to 7 brake applications before you lose all your brakes.
Right.
And the pedal just goes to the floor and the car doesn't stop. So then we realised we had an issue, and I had a cheap scan tool that I put in, but it didn't pick up any ABS issues. It only really logs engine codes. Yeah, so then we worked out, right, we got an issue and done the old key cycle a few times, didn't do it, pulled the battery lead off. Then we found it to be intermittent. I moved the car, it didn't do it. Yep. Then drove down the road a bit, it did it, got out, tapped the accumulator, and it come good.
Right. Just on the topic of pull the battery terminal off, because Steve mentioned that he's taken the battery terminal off, and it's fairly common in a lot of vehicles. If you want to reset things, you can pull the terminal on or off. I really advise people to be very knowledgeable about your vehicle and your battery system before you do that. Some vehicles, you can create a lot of problems for yourself by pulling the battery terminal off or not. So just be aware of your model. A lot of the Toyotas, you can comfortably take that terminal on and off without any issues. So just check that first, but I just want to make sure we don't get people into trouble.
No, that's true.
We're trying to help, not make it worse.
Also, the vehicle's off when we did that. So,
yes, true.
Yeah,
true,
just in case. But,
yeah. Okay, so you've reset and it was still doing it.
Still doing it, mate, yeah. Right. And I put 1 and 3 together to realise it's something to do with this accumulator pump, giving it a tap. Yep. And the motor started, the beep went away, the lights went off.
So by giving it a tap, you're able to get that motor running.
Spinning, yeah.
So there's obviously some sort of internal issue within the motor.
So then
you got it home.
No, I sort of had trouble getting it home.
Yeah.
Pretty much thinking it's going to go on a tilt tray, and I mucked around with it, thinking that there's got to be something driving this pump for it to play up. Done some research, found out there's a 12 volt pump on the bottom of that that drives this motor.
Okay, so that's this little unit here and I'll show you some close-ups of this unit, but this essentially is the little motor that sits underneath the brake unit.
Pretty much in here.
So the important thing here is, if your vehicle's got a brake booster, then you probably won't have this pump. This little motor is attached to an accumulator that applies pressure for the braking system when you haven't got a vacuum controlled booster. So it's electronically controlled to create that pressure to apply the brake pedal. This is a common thing on 100 series, 200 series.
Yeah, 200 series are starting to play up now. They're at that age.
I believe Prados run the same.
Yep.
So,
but once I've done some research and you find out you don't know any of this beforehand, but it is a common issue.
It's common.
The big problem is when you go to Toyota, they want to sell you this as a complete unit for about $3,500 Australian.
Right. Okay.
So I've worked out through a bit of research that this is the issue.
Yep.
And pretty much have found a bloke in Brisbane that can rewind this and repair the commutator, which apparently is the fault.
Yep.
Old mate took the covers off, showed me what was wrong, and there it was blatantly in front of you what was wrong in there.
So basically, in the bottom of this little unit is a pair of brushes that run on a brass ring. Those brushes wear that ring down, and then they get a bad contact. And they might sit there not contacting. By you tapping it, you just move that motor slightly and it'll kick in again. So I guess if you're up a bush track and you have this problem, you've got no brakes, maybe get out and give this a tap at the bottom, and you might get it working again enough to get you to somewhere where you can get it repaired. So the company that repaired this for you?
Rapid Power at Salisbury. Mark's the fella's name, lovely fella.
So Mark from Rapid Power, I'll put his details here at the bottom.
Yep.
So what do they do?
They do like 12 volt alternators, rewinds, 12 volt motor.
And they've repaired this, they've replaced
They've pretty much rebuilt it, rewound it.
Repaired that commutator that was worn down.
And
And how much?
180 plus GST you charge me.
So a couple $100 is
against 3,500.
That's a very cost-effective way to do it, isn't it?
No brainer. And old mate does some good stuff there. He had some waterproof alternators he does for mining stuff, and good bit of kit, eh?
Excellent.
It's hard to walk out without one of them.
So Mark from Rapid Power again, I'll put that down the bottom here so that you can look them up. Brisbane-based company, and good stuff. But very important that we say to you that unless you've got good mechanical abilities, you really should get a mechanic to do this. I mean, you're playing with your braking system. To remove the entire ABS braking, master cylinder unit, and we'll show you roughly what you need to do. You'd want to have a user manual minimum or a good level of mechanical aptitude. Steve's a mechanic by trade, I'm a mechanic by trade, so we have that ability and knowledge of what to do, how to bleed brakes, all those things. So for pity's sake, sometimes people try and save themselves a lot of money, but you can cause yourself and others harm. So we always put that disclaimer that get a professional to do it. But hey, at least now by watching this video, you know the part that needs to be fixed, and you can probably save yourself quite a few dollars. So what sort of job is it to get it out, Steve? Is it a prick of a thing or what?
No, it's not too bad. It's three brake lines, 3 electrical plugs here, 4 bolts go through the firewall onto your brake box pedal assembly, 1 pin through the brake pedal, and manoeuvre it out. Obviously it'd be a lot easier if you pull the air cleaner assembly out, but it does come out just by...
You didn't pull yours out because it's all sealed?
No, mine's all fully sealed for the snorkel and stuff like that, so
crossing.
I didn't want to mess with that, but it comes out. If you hold your tongue right and turn this on the right angle, it comes out.
Okay. Alright, well there you go. Is there anything we've forgotten? Is there anything we want to tell these people? I think that's about it.
Pretty much bolted up, a couple of wires go on here.
Rapid Power's your team. They're the guys that do the rewinding, the repair and rewind these. And I'll put a link again. And yeah, good stuff. Great. Thanks.
Happy days.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for sharing that with us.
No worries, mate. Hope it helps people out.
Want to put this video right at the start because I just want to say sometimes in life we try and save ourselves a few bucks. We jump on YouTube and we say, hey, we're the captains, we can do anything. And look, a lot of people are very capable people, and you may be one of those extremely capable people. But just know your limits, understand what you do and don't know. This is a braking system. It's part of the safety system of your vehicle, and part of this pump failure causes the brakes to fail. So we just wouldn't want to see you coming down a range and have got it wrong. The other thing is, just keep in mind that these pumps can often fail because the accumulator is leaking internally. If the accumulator leaks, that pump will run continuously, which will wear out the little brushes inside the pump. And that may be why your pump has failed, why your little motor's burned out early. So just keep these things in mind. Sometimes it's better to seek the advice of a professional, but at the same time I understand that, you know, trying to buy a whole assembly genuine is a very costly exercise. So, and as you've seen in this video, Steve was able to rectify his and has had no trouble since. So one tip, if you do the motor and you notice afterwards that it is running, just keep your ear out for that pump running. And if it's running a lot, that may be an indicator of an accumulator failure. If you've got any second guess, if you're not even sure at any of the process, do yourself a favour and the rest of the people on the roads and get a professional to have a look. Be safe, people. Thanks.